Today we are going to analyze the consumer behavior about the inferior good. Yesterday we were talking about given good, and given good is that which is having negative income effect due to fall in the price of good X, and this negative income effect was stronger than the substitution effect. That was our consumer behavior analysis of the given good. Now inferior good is that in which again income effect is negative, but it is weaker than the substitution effect due to fall in price of goods. What I said, it is also having substitution effect positive due to decrease in price of X, and income effect is negative, but income effect is weaker than the substitution effect. This is the main difference between given good and inferior good. Here substitution effect is stronger than income effect, and yesterday we were talking about income effect is negative and it is stronger than substitution effect. So in this case, substitution effect is stronger than the income effect, although income effect is negative. Now what will be the diagrammatic analysis of inferior good? This is the consumer's budget line. Clear? Now consumer is in equilibrium at this point. This is the consumer's E1 equilibrium. At present, consumer is consuming X1 of good X. I am not showing the Y's consumption because my main concern is to show now the X is inferior good. Yesterday I was taking X as a given good, and before that I was taking X as a normal good. In three cases we have decreased the price of a good, and then we have seen what happens to the income effect and substitution effect of these three goods. So this is the consumer equilibrium point before the price change of this product. So when price of X falls, what happens? Price of X decreases. What happens to the budget line? It has pivotal rightward shift, or it will have rightward rotation. In all the three cases we have used this thing, that price of X is decreasing, and what is happening to the budget line? This is what now the budget line will have a rightward rotational shift. Clear? First of all, I am going to explain you the substitution effect of this decrease in price. How to see the substitution effect? By taking away some of the income of the consumer, that is budget line will have parallel downward shift, and it will make a tangency condition with the previous indifference curve. This is how we see the substitution effect. Now this budget line will have downward shift. If we take away some part of consumer's income, so this is going to make E2 along previous indifference curve. So from E1 to E2, this is what? Substitution effect. Clear? Now the final indifference curve is in between E1 and E2. Where it is? In between E1 and E2. This is the indifference curve 2. So this is E3. Now see, from X2 to X3. This is the income effect. This is the income effect of falling price. As consumer income has increased, he is buying less. His increase in real income will make him able to buy less of this good, as he is considering this as an inferior good. For example, previously he was consuming 3 units of X. Okay? Substitution effect says you have to buy how much? 6 units of X. Clear? But income effect says buy 5 units. So income effect is negative by 1 unit, and substitution effect the income effect. But the final consumption of consumer is still more than his initial consumption level as before the price change. If previously he was consuming 3 units of X, now he is consuming 5 units of X. Final consumption is still higher than the initial consumption of the consumer before the price change. But the thing is that here substitution effect, that is positive, income effect is negative, but income effect is weaker than substitution effect. समझ में आया क्या बनेगा कि सब्स्टिट्यूशन इफेक्ट क्या कह रहा है कि दिस इज द सब्स्टिट्यूशन फ्रॉम x1 to x2. Substitution effect says substitute more x with y. Okay, sorry, decrease the consumption of y as x is relatively lower price or cheaper than y now. So you have to buy more of x from x1 to x2. Now the final consumption of consumer is in between this substitution effect. Income fact is saying now this is an inferior good, your real income has increased, buy less of it. He decreases consumption from 6 to 5. So income fact is saying buy less. Okay? But substitution effect says buy more. So income fact is weaker. Although it is negative, substitution effect is about 3 units, but income effect is to decrease the consumption by 1 unit. So here we see finally consumer is consuming more than x1. In case of given good, we said the final consumption was lower than in1. Okay? But in case of this inferior good, finally the consumer is buying more, but its income effect is negative and substitution effect is still positive, but income effect is weaker than the substitution effect. This is my main point. In this case, you can see if I draw the 3 goods model like normal good, inferior good and given good, sometimes there can be MCQs. How can we differentiate between normal good and an inferior good? Keep it in mind, this is the budget line. Okay, draw a little bit flatter budget line to show everything in a clear way. A steeper budget line does not show us a good result. So this is the budget line of consumer. If consumer is here before the price change, so when price falls and consumers move to this point, on the right of his previous consumption, sorry, this is E2, indifference curve 2. So this is called what normal growth. Okay, substitution effect is here. For all these, this is from E1 to E2. This is the substitution effect from x1 to x2. This is x3. So for a normal good, substitution effect is positive, income effect is also positive. But for given good, this indifference curve will lie on the left of indifference curve 1. Alright? This is the given good when the final indifference curve is on the left of E1. And in case of inferior good, this final indifference curve is in between E1 and E2. Okay? Sometimes there is an MCQ and they are going to ask you which one is showing us a given good, inferior good final consumption or a normal good final consumption. So we have to see the position of this new indifference curve along new budget line after the change in price of the product. If new indifference curve is having a right place on the new budget line, then it is a normal good. Both in substitution and income effect, they are positive. Keeping in mind, substitution effect of all the 3 goods is positive. It is not coming negative when price of the good X is going to decrease. But it depends upon the income effect of the price change, whether it is positive, negative, and whether this income effect is stronger than substitution effect or weaker than the substitution effect, then we can see this is going to have what we are going to have the type of the good according to the income effect of that good due to change in the price of the product. Clear? This is about what the income effect and substitution effect of an inferior good. So here I will stop it and then I will do the next video.